Have you ever had the creeping suspicion that the life you're living belongs to someone else? As if you're an actor reading lines from a script you never agreed to? Every morning, you fix the same expression onto your face. You speak the expected words. You perform the required duties. And when you finally collapse into bed at night, the silence whispers a question you've been dodging for years. Beneath all of this performance, who is actually there? The answer might unsettle you more than you expect. Carl Jung spent decades studying this exact fracture in the human psyche. He discovered that this feeling of dislocation isn't random. It's a symptom of a disease most people never even diagnose. The vast majority drift from birth to death wearing borrowed identities, chasing goals they never chose, and mistaking their social costume for their actual soul. They believe the mask is the face, and they die without ever meeting the person hiding underneath. The mask you wear longest becomes the face you lose. So here's the razor-sharp question. Is that happening to you right now? Everything you call your personality, your desires, your beliefs, how much of that is genuinely yours, and how much was installed by other people before you were old enough to resist? From the moment we're conscious, conditioning begins. We learn that love arrives when we behave. Approval follows obedience. Certain emotions get rewarded, others get punished. So we build a social disguise, what Jung called the persona. It's the version of ourselves we present to teachers, partners, employers, even strangers on social media. And for a while, it works. We fit in. We survive. But slowly, insidiously, the disguise starts wearing us instead of the other way around. The more years you spend inside the persona, the less access you have to what's real. Until one day you realize, you've become a character, not a person. And that character didn't choose its own plot. Jung warned that living this way extracts a price. A heavy one. Have you ever achieved something you thought would make you happy? A promotion, a relationship, a milestone, only to feel nothing? Or worse, a hollow ache that nothing external seems to touch? That emptiness isn't a glitch. It's the voice of your true self, buried under decades of conditioning, whispering that you're chasing the wrong things. What you need isn't out there. It's under there. But here's the terrifying part. Most people never dig. They keep adding layers. More achievements. More validation. More roles. And the emptiness only grows. Are you willing to go where almost no one goes? Inside. This inward journey is what Jung called individuation, the slow, painful, liberating process of becoming whole. Not perfect. Not approved. Whole. It means excavating everything you've repressed, denied, or forgotten about yourself. And it means facing parts of your psyche you'd rather keep locked away. Let's start with the persona itself, because most people don't even realize they're wearing one. Think back to your childhood. What were you praised for? Being quiet? Being helpful? Not crying? Not arguing? Those weren't just lessons. They were instructions for building your mask. You learned that certain parts of you were acceptable. The rest? You learned to hide them. But what gets hidden doesn't disappear. It goes underground. Jung called that underground realm the shadow. And the shadow is where everything you've been told is bad, weak, wrong, or unacceptable takes up residence. Your forbidden anger, your inconvenient desires, your shameful fears, your wild impulses, even your natural creativity. If someone once told you it was impractical, here's what nobody tells you. Most of what's in your shadow isn't evil. It's just exiled. And exiles always try to come home. Have you ever exploded in rage over something trivial and then thought, where did that come from? That was your shadow. Have you ever felt irrational envy toward a friend's success and then immediately felt guilty? Shadow. Have you ever sabotaged your own opportunity right before success? That's your shadow steering the ship while you're asleep at the wheel. But here's the crucial reframe. Your shadow is not your enemy. It's your buried gold. Inside that darkness lives your fiercest authenticity, your deepest creativity, your truest strength. You just haven't learned to integrate it yet. So how do you begin integration? You stop running. You start noticing. When someone criticizes you and you feel a disproportionate reaction, ask, what part of me is that touching? When you feel envy, ask, what do I actually want that I've forbidden myself to want? The shadow speaks through emotional spikes. Learn to listen instead of flinching. This leads to the central question. If the persona is the mask and the shadow is the hidden, then what is the true self? Jung called it the self, with a capital S. Not the ego, not the social role, not the wounded child, but the totality of your being. The integration of light and dark, mask and shadow, conscious and unconscious. The self is not something you invent. It's something you uncover, like an archaeologist brushing sand off a statue that was always there. Individuation is the process of becoming that self, and it requires something most people refuse to give: radical honesty. You have to admit that many of your choices weren't yours, that some of your beliefs were inherited, that certain relationships you cling to are based on old survival strategies, not genuine love. That confession hurts, but the freedom on the other side is breathtaking. Once you begin integrating your shadow and questioning your persona, something shifts. You stop needing everyone's approval. You start making decisions that feel aligned rather than strategic. You notice that the old anxieties, the ones that used to drive you, begin to quiet down. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped living a lie. Authenticity isn't comfortable. It's free. But there's another layer Jung insisted on. Beyond your personal unconscious, beyond your own repressed memories and desires, lies something he called the collective unconscious. This is a deeper ocean, shared by all humans across all cultures and times. And it contains archetypes, universal patterns of behavior, emotion, and symbol that shape your life without your permission. Have you ever felt drawn to certain stories, myths, or characters without knowing why? That's an archetype activating. The hero who overcomes, the wise old man who advises, the rebel who breaks the rules, the lover who seeks union, the creator who builds. These forces live inside you, shaping your decisions, your relationships, your very identity. And if you're unaware of them, they control you completely. Imagine identifying only with the hero. You'll feel pressure to always be strong, never vulnerable, and you'll burn out. Imagine identifying only with the caregiver. You'll give endlessly to others and forget you exist. Individuation means recognizing which archetypes dominate you and integrating the ones you've neglected. How do you spot them? Watch your dreams. Notice your irrational attractions and repulsions. Track the patterns that repeat in your life without your conscious intent. The archetypes speak in symbols. Learn their language. Now, let's be honest about the cost of refusing this journey. What happens to someone who never individuates? Who dies wearing the persona, ignoring the shadow, blind to the archetypes? Jung was blunt. They don't find safety. They find fragmentation. Anxiety without a clear source. Depression that medication can't touch. A sense that life is happening to them, not for them. Have you noticed how some people repeat the same destructive patterns for decades? Same type of toxic partner. Same career self-sabotage. Same explosion of resentment every few years. That's the unexamined life. The unconscious expresses itself whether you invite it or not. If you refuse to integrate your shadow will live through you, in compulsions, in outbursts, in chronic dissatisfaction. And the cruelest part? You'll blame the world for what's actually coming from within. Resentment is the hallmark of non-individuation. The person who never finds their true self grows angry at their parents, their boss, their government, their luck. But that anger is misdirected. The real target is the life they never claimed as their own. But there is a way out. There always is. Individuation is not a destination you arrive at on a Tuesday. It's a practice, a daily choice to ask, am I acting from my persona or myself? Am I repressing this feeling or exploring it? Am I following a borrowed script or writing my own? Most people will never ask these questions. They prefer the comfort of the familiar lie. But you're still here, still reading, still listening. That's not nothing. Finding your true self means accepting your wholeness, your kindness and your cruelty, your courage and your fear, your light and your darkness. It means taking the pen from everyone who's been writing your story and becoming the author yourself. It means stepping off the stage of other people's expectations and into the wilderness of your own soul. So here's my question to you, directly. Are you ready to begin? Not next year. Not when it's safer. Now. If something in this journey has landed, if you felt a crack in your own persona, a whisper from your own shadow, then let me know in the comments. What's one area of your life where you suspect you're performing instead of living? Let's talk about it. And before you go, if this kind of exploration matters to you, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed to Winds of Thought. This channel exists for people willing to ask the hard questions. The unexamined life isn't just not worth living. It's not yours. The next video continues this journey deeper into the archetypes that secretly shape your destiny. Don't stop here. The real discovery has only just begun.